So my name is Rick Rangaitis. I'm the CEO of the San Marcos Chamber. So welcome to today's webinar. We have Isabella Jankovic, who is a MiraCosta alum. Oh, I should say before I do this really nice introduction, you guys just are on mute, and then for Isabella's presentation, then I'll unmute everybody so we can have plenty of time for some Q&A. So Isabella is a MiraCosta alum and transferred to the University of California, San Diego through the IGETC program. There she received a Bachelor of Arts degree in Visual Media Arts and spent 13 years working in the marketing field, where she grew not only her marketing experience as technology changed, but her management experience as well. In 2017, Isabella obtained her Master's in Business Administration degree at California State University, San Marcos. Post-grad school, she went to the entrepreneur route and launched her own marketing agency, JANOVICK Communications, where she specializes in assisting small business owners and nonprofits with marketing, consulting, content creation, and social media strategies. And I also have to add that I know firsthand, because Isabella has done some great work for the Chamber in the past, and we really appreciate everything you've done. You've been a great partner of the Chamber, and looking forward to your presentation today. As we all know, more now than ever, we're all having to do that pivot and trying to figure this all out. And so we appreciate Isabella coming on, and look forward to hearing your tips. So no further ado, Isabella.
All right, thank you so much. Great to see you guys here. I want to know who the May the 4th be with you person is, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So hopefully that person will share their video later. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with you guys. I have a nice little PowerPoint presentation here. All right, so I'll just go quickly through these first few slides since we had that nice introduction. Thank you, Rick. So graduated from UCSD with the Bachelor's in Visual Media Arts, and my internship was with Tony Hawk 900 Films. So for those that you don't know, Tony Hawk, the big professional skateboarder, I did a lot of video work for him, so that was super fun. Got to learn a lot about video. Production positions were graphic design, computer programming, and project management. That evolved into more marketing positions, web to print, direct mail marketing, email marketing, and then social media marketing as soon as social media came out. So pretty much I followed the trend and technology of marketing as it's grown. Leadership roles, marketing director, and then I did graduate from Cal State San Marcos right down the street with my master's in business administration. And that's when I launched JANOVICK Communications, where I specialize in content creation, social media management, and marketing. I'm also the founders of UltraBuds Running, which is a social running group up here in North County. And last year, my business partner and I launched a second company called Ghost Runners Coaching, where we coach athletes or soon to be athletes anywhere from the 5K to 100K distance. I'm also a professor at Cal State San Marcos and MiraCosta College, where I teach a variety of marketing classes, mostly social media marketing. Just a little bit on the personal side of me, I'm an ultra runner, so that means I run races that are 50Ks and 50-mile races. So yes, a lot of people think I'm a little cuckoo. I also do obstacle course racing, and for those that are familiar with Spartans, I race a lot of Spartans. Big into hiking, backpacking, and also my husband and I have 3 rescued pit bulls now for the dog lovers out there. This is Coda, who's 14, Dahlia's 3, and Puppy Romanoff, for any Avengers fans out there, will be 1 next week. So that's pretty much about me. I'm just gonna get into some social media basics before I jump into some tips and strategies for you. So some quick statistics in case you aren't aware. 81% of the buying decisions a customer makes are influenced by their friends' social media posts. So I'm sure a lot of you who are on Facebook and Instagram have been influenced by what your friends have said on social media, especially right now during COVID. Everyone's on social media right now, everyone. 71% say that social media referrals make them more likely to purchase. So when people refer you on social media, It boosts your potential for sales with everyone who sees that post. So you'll notice people sharing other people's posts. Maybe they got takeout from the local pizza restaurant down the street, and you're thinking, I want pizza tonight for me and my family. Which pizza place should I go to in San Marcos? Oh, I saw this post being shared. It was referred by friends. I'm going to go to that place. Conversions jump by 133% when shoppers are on mobile see good reviews about you and your company and your services before buying. So having those reviews and testimonials on your business Facebook page is really key. So I'm not going to go over Yelp or anything on this particular presentation, but just as important as reviews and testimonials are in Yelp, they're important on Facebook as well. So the main social media platforms that are out there right now is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and YouTube. And then most recently, Snapchat and TikTok. We've seen a huge increase in TikTok lately, again, with the COVID, mostly for a younger generation, but now that some of the adults have a little bit more free time on their hands, they're actually on TikTok a lot more. I'm still researching that platform myself. I haven't dived too deep into it just yet, but it's very interesting. And I recommend you guys to at least set up an account and kind of check it out and see what it's all about. So how can social media help me, small business owner? Building relationships and community by generating discussion, brand awareness and discovery. So just kind of getting your name out there, your brand out there, what you do. Announcing new products and business developments, promoting events and increasing both registrations and attendance. Really big for events. I do a lot of events for clients of mine. Sometimes the events is just once a year, you know. Nonprofits usually have a big gala once a year. Great way to promote it. Increase your website traffic. It's a great way to push people to your website by posting your link. Providing value to your audience and establishing your expertise. So showing that you know what you're talking about, you know your product, you know your industry, and you know your service. Let people know what you know. So here's an example. I'm using my Ghost Runners coaching as an example for this presentation. So like I said, we coach athletes from the 5K to the 100K, but we also promote strength and conditioning and good nutrition. So some example posts are, you know, here we have an Instagram post with the special offer for runners based on our full program. Here we have a promotion for a 15-week running program geared toward a certain local popular race. I know not all of you guys know about all the trail races out there. So that was a huge promotion. Here we're showing tips, nutrition tips. So we're showing our domain expertise. We're giving a value, we're giving tip, and we're giving education. And in this post here, we're giving information on strength and conditioning. So, and weightlifting. So again, we're showing tips, value, education, and we're showing that we're experts. Also notice the quality of the photos. They're real photos, all taken with iPhone. You don't need anything fancy, but it's good lighting. It's, you know, it's not blurry. It's good resolution, but it shows real life because they're real photos. Yes, you can use stock images sometimes too, but you don't want your entire Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest to be all a bunch of stock photos. It doesn't show that real authentic look. So I always try to use as much as our photos as possible. So some basic social media etiquette that I see a lot of issues with when I view other people's accounts, especially small businesses. Use different accounts for professional and personal communications. I can't tell you the amount of times I see a small business owner with their business account and they'll throw in personal posts that have nothing to do with their brand, have nothing to do with their product or service. Keep them separate, all right? Always be respectful and nice. I know sometimes it's hard if someone posts something or there's some sort of controversy going on, like, you know, right now, COVID, you kind of got to be careful what you say because you could start something that you can't come back from on Facebook. or Instagram or any of the platforms. Remember, whenever it's on the internet, it's there for life. It's not going away. Even if you delete a post later, it's already too late because someone's taken a screenshot. So always be respectful and nice. Try not to get too opinionated and political. Keep it generic. Don't react too quickly if someone attacks you about something. Always think about it, calm down before you respond back, and make sure you always respond with professionalism. Always spell check. There's apps out there that can help you spell check. Now, we're all human though, so every once in a while there's gonna be a typo. That's just gonna happen. But always try to spell check as much as you can. It's great to have a second set of eyes before posting on social media. Especially when you're posting from your phone, it's kind of hard, you know, with your fat fingers, like, oh shoot, that was a typo, you know. Also, with a lot of platforms, you can edit the post later. So if you do see a typo, like in Facebook, you can go back to it later, edit, and fix the typo. Use hashtags strategically. When I train my clients that are posting on their own, I always go through a little hashtag seminar with them, because there are right and wrong ways of using hashtags. And there are a certain number of hashtags to be used on different platforms. Some platforms don't use hashtags at all. Instagram is huge on hashtags. Twitter, you use a lot of hashtags. Things like LinkedIn, you don't really use hashtags, as an example. So always use your hashtags strategically. There's actually a lot of market research that goes into selecting hashtags for certain posts, for certain industries, for certain products and services. Don't spam your followers' feeds. There is such thing as overposting, all right? Say you have an event coming up. You don't want to post 10 times a day about the same event. You got to make sure it's spread out evenly. And you'll see this when you get into your analytics later and see how much engagement you have on these event posts. You have to be strategic. Do not overspam your feeds. Don't tag or post pictures and videos of people without permission. Yes, there's kind of that, okay, it's on the internet, anyone has access to it. Yeah, that may be true. But I always think respectfully as a business owner, it's always nice just to ask that other business owner or follower, hey, that's a really great photo. Do you mind if I repost it? It's always good to ask permission first, and they appreciate that. Especially when there's children involved in photos, you have to be very, very careful that you have permission to post a picture of a photo. Now, if you're using a stock image of a child, that's totally different. But if it's someone's actual child that you're posting on social media, you need to have permission. I actually tell my clients not to post children photos at all, because you just never know what's going to happen. Don't post anything you would not want your coworkers or potential employees or clients to see. A lot of us have personal Facebook pages. Yes, they're personal. However, you never know who can get on there. Maybe it's a potential client. Maybe you're trying to get a job, or you're looking to hire someone. You know, it just depends. Everyone is on Facebook, whether it's personal or not. Always be careful of what you're posting. When in doubt, don't post it. So here's an example of my personal accounts. I had a hard time changing my personal and business, so I completely understand the people who are like, oh my gosh, my business account, I have to keep that separate from my personal account. It's hard. It really is, especially when you've created this growth of followers and now you're like, oh my gosh, I have to create a whole separate business account and start from scratch. Yes, you do. So I have an Instagram page here for JANOVICK Communications. This is my business page. The only things I post are, you know, networking events, anything to do with my business, marketing, and teaching. So this is all professional here. I have a certain amount of followers. I follow different people follow me. My description's different, and the content's different, and the strategy's different. Then here I have my personal page. This is my running page with all things running, athletic, more personal, doesn't really have anything to do with marketing or teaching or social media. It's really fun. So I do have two separate pages now, and pretty much the same amount of followers, but they're different followers. They're different strategies that I'm posting. And even though this is my personal page, I have a lot of coaching clients and coaching prospects that view this personal page. So I still keep it clean and make sure I know what I'm posting and sticking to that etiquette. So now I'm going to dive into some social media strategies for you guys here. So there's pretty much 4 main categories of businesses out there, and they're all have different types of strategies. So digital products or subscriptions, physical products purchased online, so more of like the e-commerce, local brick and mortar businesses or services, and virtual services. So I feel like the majority of the chamber people are more brick and mortar businesses and services from the people that I've met. But so there's 4 main categories here. So kind of think a minute, like which category do you fit in? I think most people out there are brick and mortar. Maybe nowadays it's more virtual services, right? So when building your strategy, you need to ask yourself the following questions, and you need to be able to answer the following questions before you build your strategy. Whether you do the strategy on your own or if you hire someone, the same questions need to be asked and answered and well thought out and planned. So where are you in your business? Are you barely starting? Have you been around for 5 years? Have you been around for 20 years? What are you struggling with? Is it a certain product online? Is it people coming into your door? Is it selling a certain product line? What are you looking to accomplish with social media? What problems are you trying to solve? There's always a problem to solve and you're the solution, right? And what is and isn't currently working? So these questions here to build your social media strategy, they're really the same questions you ask yourself with any marketing strategy. So even whether you're doing direct mail or email marketing or traditional marketing in the past 20 years ago, these are the same basic questions, right? You're just using them for social media now. It's just a different avenue of marketing your business. What are your objectives with social media marketing? Is it to build your brand online, generate awareness, so to get more foot traffic, get more orders, sell more products or services, get more leads, subscribers, and prospects? Maybe it's all 4 of these, right? Most companies probably have all 4 of these objectives. So before creating your strategy, the number 1 thing I tell clients to do is have a functioning and update website. You need to have the website first. If you have a certain amount of marketing budget, I always tell the clients before you put that budget towards your social media plan, put it toward your website first. That is way more important. I won't even take clients until they have a great setup website because it's that important. There are lots of great website people out there. I think the chamber has a few on their directory that you can contact, but always have a website first. Second most important thing is to do an internal audit on your current platforms. You need to know where you're at before you develop your strategies, right? So do an audit. I do this with my clients as well. There's like a whole worksheet I have that I check mark everything. And it's important to see just little things like who has access to your Facebook account, right? Is it an employee from 5 years ago? Maybe you should take them off, right? Just little things like that. Be sure that the brand is established and consistent. You want to make sure you have your mission statement, the same thing you have on your website, you want to have on all your social media platforms. So the same color palettes, the same brands, logos, tone of voice when you're speaking, mission statement, description of your company, all that stuff. It needs to be consistent. Know your objectives and your goals. So kind of how I did on the previous slide. Know who your customer avatar is. Some people use the word persona. I use the word avatar. And for those that don't have much marketing or business experience, that's when you create your typical customers. And you could have more than one particular customer. So for example, our number 1 avatar persona for Ghost Runners Coaching is that person who has completed a half marathon or a marathon, and they're looking to make the jump to their first ultra marathon. So that's one persona for us, that person who is looking to do their first ultra marathon, right? So create those personas, know your avatar, and make sure that your content and your strategy revolves around this avatar. You don't want to build a content strategy around a 25-year-old single male when you're really selling products to couples in their 40s and 50s, right? So you got to make sure you know who your audience is, and that takes research. It takes time to develop that. So here's an example of our, just a screenshot of our Ghost Runners website. Recreated this so that we could drive people to the website with our social media posts. Really basic, not much into this. I actually created it myself. I don't consider myself a website person, and that's not a service I provide, but for those who are tech savvy, you could build a website yourself. Really basic, who we are, why train with us, testimonials, contact us. Right underneath this screenshot, I have the links to our social media handles. And here's the #1 link right here I want them to hit. I'm ready to start training. I want to get that conversion. So content research. So when you're building your strategy, you need content, right? If you're a company that's been around for a while, you probably have a ton of content already out there that you can take bits and pieces of and repurpose it for social media posts. So examples of this could be podcasts, videos, blogs, ebooks, website, white papers, or any other content that your company has already created. If you're someone in the science bio field, maybe you already have a ton of ebooks and white papers, and you just take snippets from that and you create social media posts, right? Even with podcasts, even though it's just audio, you can take snippets of that, find a great image or a video to go with it, and put it together. Content can be published on social media using high volume keywords. So that's another type of content research you do. It's called keyword research. Similar to SEO, search engine optimization, that you do for websites, you do the same thing for social media. You search those keywords for that avatar that you're trying to sell to. This drives prospects to a call of action. And you must be consistent on how you post your content. So I always tell clients, like, you don't have to post every day, but be consistent on how you post. Maybe it's only 2 times a week. Hey, every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to be committed to posting on my LinkedIn page, right? And I have content that I'm building a strategy for, so I can schedule it all in advance. And I'll get to that a little later. So content planning, you want to develop and create your content. So you get all these little bits and pieces from all the content you already have created, and you start planning and developing and creating the content. So again, you have a great video clips or audio clips from podcasts. Now you need to research or develop your photos or graphics to go with it so that you can put the two together. Maybe you need to go out there and take new photos, but you have good copy to go with that new photo. You want to decide on your topics. What are you going to talk about? What do you want to share with people? Planning your content. Maybe you post the same sort of thing on Mondays, on Thursdays, on Fridays, on Saturdays. Developing an asset library. So you want one hub to put all your video and your photos and your graphics so it's easier to grab from. I always rename all my photos and graphics and videos so they're strategically named so I can find them easier. Instead of just having the random IMG number, they're actually named a certain way. Repurposing content for social media. A lot of great content's usually on people's websites, so just repurposing that. So here's an example of a Google Doc that I have for Ghost Runners coaching. I use Google Docs for everything. And why I love Google Docs is that it's a great way to rearrange things and change things around before I actually schedule the post to go on the social media platform. You can share it and it's live. So maybe you have a team of social media people and you're like, hey, we need to share this so that we can see what other people have already put in. Another thing is if you're hiring an agency or another person to do your social media, you can use a Google Doc to approve posts ahead of time. So you can just make another little column here, row, column, and it can be the approved post. Okay, these posts have been approved, okay to schedule. It's great for collaboration and teamwork and just kind of organizing all your thoughts and ideas. So for Ghost Runners coaching, I'm very strategic on the topics. So every Monday, we have a Medal Monday, someone who raced over the weekend, whether it's an in-person race or nowadays a virtual race. Every Tuesday, we promote an event. We've partnered with several race directors in the area, so we promote a lot of races and different events. Every Wednesday, we have a testimonial. So we're constantly gathering testimonials from our current athletes, and then we post them back on social media. Every Thursday is a throwback. Every Friday is our nutrition post. So we post something new about nutrition. And every Saturday is an event. Usually we're at an event on the weekend, so we'll post more of a live. Facebook could be different posts. So I always have a different thing for every platform here. And also there's Instagram stories, which is more live, but I don't schedule those in because those are more like live on the fly at an event or out on a training run. So I like to organize everything in Google Docs first. I highly recommend the platform. Also, it's free. That always helps, right? Content distribution. So decide which platforms you'll be posting to. So this example here was just Facebook and Instagram. I always tell people it's not the quantity of platforms, but it's the quality. So if you're just starting off, or maybe you're doing it on your own because you're a small business owner, start with 1 or 2 platforms first. You don't need to be on all of them at once. And if Facebook isn't working after 6 months, switch to Instagram, switch to LinkedIn, try different things out. There's nothing wrong with that. So decide which platforms are best for you and your business. Develop and create your content. So depending on your platform, your content will need to be sized appropriately. So for Instagram, it's mostly square photos. LinkedIn, Twitter, they're all different sizes. So you want to make sure that it's sized perfectly for each platform. And then you build your distribution calendar. So what days and times will you be posting? What is the content and copy? So all of that can be put in your Google Doc first. If you notice, I kind of just put AM in here, but you can put the exact times. So if you're posting several times a day, maybe you put Monday 6 a.m., Monday 4 p.m., etc. So once you've kind of gotten your distribution and you have your Google Doc all set up, then you can use a platform similar to the platform I use is called Hootsuite, and it actually schedules everything for you. So you can spend, 4 or 5 hours one time a month and schedule all your posts for the month in advance if you like. You can spend a couple hours on Sunday and schedule your posts for the week, schedule them every 2 weeks. It's totally up to you. I'm not really going to be going over scheduling in this particular presentation, but if you want to just Google Hootsuite, they have free tutorials online there. You can check them out. It's free for up to 3 accounts. So it's nice to use the free feature first, and then you can upgrade to the paid feature later when you get more comfortable using the platform. Other platforms besides Hootsuite, there's Sprinkler, there's Sprout Social, there's Buffer, there's a whole bunch of them out there. So here's an example of the Ghost Runners coaching. So here we have our Facebook page, and you can't really see any posts I have in here. And then here we have the Instagram page. So if you notice the branding, we try to use the same images, try to use the same handles, what we call handles, the @ sign handles, same name, use the same description on both pages. With Facebook, you can have it a longer description because you have the about. Again, we're using real photos, but they're high quality photos. Here's kind of like a testimonial photo of a client that sent us their photo. So it shows that authenticity, that real life. This is a client's food photo. So we're not taking all the images ourselves. We're using generated content, user generated content as well. So you might see that term places, UGC, that stands for user generated content. I'm gathering content from other people to repurpose on my social media platforms with permission. Remember that, with permission. All right, so you have all your content, you have it planned, you have it scheduled to post, you're starting to post, you're loving it. Now what? You always need to measure what's going on. It's all about metrics when it comes to business and marketing. A lot of people aren't into analytics, they're not into numbers. I totally get that. I'm more of a creative person myself, but it's very important to see how you're doing so you know where to make changes. You need to know what works and what doesn't work. So the basic metrics here for social media is the growth. So that's the size of your audience, reach, and impressions. Your engagement, which is the engaged users, engagement rate on content. The traffic, which is the clicks from social to blog, website, landing pages, etc. And your leads and sales. Now this is kind of more of a sales department instead of marketing department, but if you're a small business owner and you're wearing many hats, you have that on your list. When you have the purchase version of Hootsuite and other scheduling platforms, they give you reports for everything very nicely. You click on the dates you want. I pull reports once a month. usually for my clients, and you can see everything so nice. There's also free analytics on every platform. It's a little harder to see things, but you can go into Facebook analytics, you can go into Instagram Insights, Twitter has it. They're all called different things, but they do offer a certain amount of free metrics for you to measure. But you need to decide ahead of time, what do you want to measure, right? Maybe you only want to measure the traffic in the beginning or the engagement in the beginning, right? So you need to decide which metrics and make sure it's consistent every month so that you know what's trending. So with JANOVIK Communications, these are actually the services that I provide clients. So audit and review, consultations, whether on the phone or in person or these days through Zoom. I do trainings as well. So maybe you have a team and you're like, hey, I have a team of 3 people who can do social media. We know how to do it kind of for personal use, but we don't know how to use it for businesses. Can you help us out? So I will sit with the group and do trainings. Again, right now it's through Zoom, which is perfectly fine. Maybe you just want to learn the basics of social media, or maybe you're specific and you're like, hey, I want to learn as much as you can teach me about Instagram only. So training one-on-one or training with the group of your staff. I also do monthly management. So coming up with all the content, the strategies, actually doing all the planning and the posting for you. I can be your person for all that so that you just don't even have to worry about it. That's mostly what my clients like to do. Event coordinating, which again, right now, we're not doing too much of that, but a lot of nonprofits have certain events that they want social media for. Maybe they only want social media for 4 to 6 months leading up to their events. So I will work with them on a project based only. You don't have to hire me for the entire 12 months out of the year. I do a lot of just projects. Ambassador influencer programs. Ambassadors and influencers are getting huge now, especially on platforms such as Instagram. If you want someone to be an ambassador for your brand or to influence and post on your behalf, someone's got to manage all that, right? Someone has to come up with the strategy, the planning, the managing of the ambassadors, influencers, the finding of the ambassadors and influencers, the constant communication. And it does work. I do this a lot when I work with race directors. It does work, but it does take time again. And then community outreach. So actually going out to your events or other events and doing the live Instagram stories, taking the photos, taking the videos, so that at your event, all you have to worry about is your event only. You don't have to worry about who's taking photos, who's doing the social media, and who's doing videos. So those are the basic services that I provide. Here's my contact info here if you want to take a screenshot. Isabella@janocom.com, phone number, website, handle if you want to follow me on social media. And if you're interested in any ghost runners coaching, running coaching, here's the information for that down here. And that's all I have. So I can stop sharing my screen here.
Thanks, Isabella.
And if anyone has questions.
Yeah, that's a ton of great information. So really appreciate it. I mean, you know, and I think my biggest takeaway too, I think it's just everything we do, we're always strategic. And I'm not that good at social media. And I know for us, Melanie and Christina do all of it. And but coming up with a strategic plan is critical, just like anything else. So I'm going to unmute everybody. So everybody should have the be able to mute or unmute on your own now. So go ahead. Who has anybody have any questions for Isabella?
I had one.
Dana?
Thanks for your time and your presentation. Very informative, awesome, and totally relevant. I think most of us are reevaluating our social media strategies. I for one, am trying to navigate the regulations of my industry, which allow us to do certain aspects of social media, primarily LinkedIn, but also trying to build my personal brand outside the office through the community engagement activities that I'm involved with. So I do try to do a lot in the community with charity golf tournaments and things like that I'm involved with. And so I'm pretty new to Instagram, and recently I started noticing that there's an option to promote like a post. And I was just without, getting too into the weeds, give a high level view on how does that work? Like promoting something, and do you pay for it? And is it worth it when you post something on Instagram?
Yes, it's definitely worth it. So there's kind of two different ways. There's the promoting boosting, which after you post something, you kind of just pay money. So it shows up more in people's feeds based on how much money you're spending. And then there's like the whole Facebook ad strategy. And that is pretty involved. It's kind of follows a whole entire sales and marketing funnel when you do the ad strategy, and you'll want to hire a Facebook ad strategist for that. So, but boosting, I highly recommend it, even if it's just 10, 20 bucks, especially if it's for an event. And you can choose your demographic. They make it super simple for you because they want you to spend money. You can choose your demographic. Hey, I only want North County and I want this certain age group. And you can put in keywords like golf, charity, nonprofit, philanthropy. So definitely recommend it. The smallest amount helps a lot.
Cool. I'm going to have to experiment.
Great. Who else has questions?
I had a quick question. Isabella, thank you so much. That was super informative. I learn something from you every time I talk to you. You're a wealth of information. I manage a private group on Facebook for a group of ladies. It's like a club, and they range from like 30 to 95 years old, and I'm having trouble with kind of like a strategy to get them engaged. I mean, do you have any advice? I can't get them to post their own posts. It's all just me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have any advice.
That's so awesome. You have a group too. I wasn't able to get into Facebook groups in this presentation, but that's funny because I just did a presentation yesterday on groups. Lenny was on that, and Dana.
Is it recorded?
Facebook groups are great. Sometimes it's hard to engage. You always want to pose a question where people can answer, and you can make it fun questions like, hey, my dog, you have a dog, right? Hey, my dog did something silly today. Post a picture of what your dog did today. Something that doesn't even have to do with the topic, just to get people posting and engaged. You can do polls, ask silly questions like, what did you guys do for Cinco de Mayo today? And you put like 4 answers. Polls are great in Facebook groups. And then running contests too. Like, hey, if you guys do this so many posts in the month of May, I'm going to give you a free gift card for Old Cow Coffee or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great. I've been just trying to figure out how to keep them engaged, especially right now. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Fun questions that have nothing to do with the topic. It gets people. The dog one always works.
I think Lenny lost her mic and has a question in chat room. So why do some platforms block content? Was that your question, Lenny? Okay.
Wait, what was it again?
Why do some platforms block content?
Facebook does have rules on certain things. I know with graphics, certain keywords that you use for COVID right now, they're blocking you. And it changes all the time. I can't even keep up. I know, like I was posting running photos and I took a picture of like a dead rabbit on the trail, and they blocked me for that. And I got put into Facebook jail. I call it Facebook jail, for doing a post there was nothing wrong. It was something to do with nutrition or something. And they put me in jail for like four days. So I know, right?
Wow.
So you just like never know. And then you being in the medical field, maybe it's certain statistics you're not allowed to post. You'd have to research all that. I can't hear you, but
Yeah.
you and I can talk later too, Lenny. But yeah, Facebook's mean sometimes.
Any other questions for Isabella? It's a great opportunity. As I said, she's very good at what she does. And so it's great to have her spend some time with us today. And this is a great opportunity to ask some questions. I know you were very thorough in your presentation, so you covered a lot, but I'm sure there's some other questions. If I was more into social media, I'd have lots of questions, but I'm not. So, so anybody else have questions for Isabella?
I don't have any specific questions, Isabella, but thank you so much for all of the information. And I'm with Dana. We work for the same organization where, you know, it's highly regulated what we can post on social media. I'm in a little bit of a unique situation because my husband is a small business owner. He owns a film production company. So, you know, in years past, I've helped promote his business and our family business. And I'm trying to manage both, you know, the regulations that I have to adhere to for my personal career and still help him promote. So it's been a balancing act.
Yeah, because that's two completely different strategies.
Two completely
and different platforms. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have had to draw a very hard line between personal and family business and then my professional business. And I primarily promote through LinkedIn.
Yes, I was going to say that your industry is LinkedIn. Where
Uh-huh.
videos might be more Instagram because there's probably fun like behind the scene videos you can do.
Yeah, and I think, you know, so we've just kind of had to naturally, you know, any social media promotion of my husband's business that kind of falls under his, his, you know, responsibilities moving forward. But it's been challenging, you know, just to keep them very separate. But thank you so much.
Anybody else?
If you, Isabella, what would you find is one of the most effective social media platforms for promoting a product, a tangible product?
It really depends on what the product is and where your audience is. For example, your product could be beer, right? If you're having a beer event, maybe you only use Facebook for events, but for the new release, you post on Instagram at 3 o'clock when people are starting to think where they're going for happy hour. So it just depends what the product is and where your audience is.
Okay, so just being very strategic.
Yeah, and it's nice to follow competitors, see what's working for them.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with that.
Good, thank you.
Okay, if there's not any other questions, Isabella, do you have any final words for the group?
Just keep staying positive during this time. We'll have our town back in no time. Keep supporting those small businesses. You know, when you get in your takeout or Mother's Day plans, that's all I can say right now. And we'll be over this soon. And I'm here for you. Email, Zoom.
Thanks, Isabella. Really appreciate it. Like I said, it's just a ton of great information. More important now than ever. So thank you for it. And you know, so we'll be able to post this webinar on our website. And you know, I don't know if I know maybe you guys took screenshots, but I don't know. I guess if you could send me, would it be all right to send me the deck or anything like that?
I can send a PDF version. Yeah.
Okay, and then we can share with everybody that registered for today's event. Okay, and then and that's good too because it's got all your contact information on there as well. So thanks again for everybody for attending today. Please let myself or Melanie know if you have other ideas for webinars. We want to keep doing this. It's we've had some really good ones and some great information. But just keep, you know, we want to be able to provide these resources and provide information on things that are important to you. So don't hesitate to reach out to us and let us know, and we'll schedule the appropriate person. And these have been trying times, but these have been, I think, very beneficial. And it's you know, I look forward to seeing everybody in person one day, but right now it's great to see you in the Hollywood squares, or I guess the San Marcos square to be more appropriate. So have a great day, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks, Isabella.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.